One of the things that we're inviting people in this course to do is to get started with the work of launching innovation, even if they haven't mapped out what the next 47 steps look like, rather saying, look, the way that you start learning how to bring about change in organizations is that you bring some people together and you start working on change in organizations. How do you think about helping people through that step of saying that we're not going to plan everything out, rather we're just going to go ahead and get started in some of this work?
Well, I always think there's two facets of it. The first is, it's never about me only. I mean, our old rule of thumb is no person ever changes an organization. Doesn't matter what her or his job is. I don't care if you're the CEO, you don't create any deep change. It's always comes out of partnerships. So who are my partners? Who is it who really shares my passion about something? And then as you said, right from the beginning, get started. By the time you sit around and figure it out, you'll have waited way too long.
Yeah.
You figure it out as you go. So, and if you're not by yourself and you have a partnership, it's actually easier, because you'll have an idea, I'll have an idea, and we'll say, well, let's just start with this. And of course, the thing that always scares us about that is we don't know exactly what will happen. But if we're connected to somebody else, we help each other through those. When things don't quite work, those connections, those personal connections, really help a lot. So to me, partnership and getting started is what it always comes down to.
And really, another way of thinking through that is that anyone can take on those two roles of partnership and getting started. You don't have to have a formal leadership responsibility.
Right.
These are actions that people take, not roles that they're assigned. All of us can bring folks together and start talking with each other about what does better teaching and learning look like in this context, and what can we do tomorrow with a vision towards some more substantial improvements a semester down the line, a year down the line, 5 years down the line. But what can we do tomorrow to start bringing about a vision that we come up with together to have there be better in teaching and learning for our students?
So I'm a very visual person. So very often, like when you're saying that, I had this picture of these three domains, these three circles. There's my circle of action, what can I actually do? There's my circle of impact, which is a little bigger. Like I can do this, but it can actually have a bigger impact, particularly when we work together. And then there's my circle of aspiration. All three are really important. The aspiration really pulls you. Yes, in 5 years, here's what I'd really like to be doing. But the question is, first, what can I directly impact? What can I directly do? And then what's some of the influence that can have that's a little broader, particularly when I'm working with somebody else? So yeah, I think that you really do have to get started, but you can be thinking longer term. Just don't get hung up, because as you say, don't have the long-term plan. You never will.
Sometimes the way that I've talked about this with educators is as the Monday someday dilemma, that part of what we want to be able to do is say, here's a thing that we can implement tomorrow. Here's a thing that we can start right away. And we want to do that in the context of what I think you would call a larger aspiration of what's a more ambitious set of changes that we can be working towards. And then the challenge is to stitch together each of these Mondays so they bring us to a more ambitious kind of someday where our students have really different kinds of learning experiences that lead to really different kinds of outcomes that build upon our strengths that we have right now, but also invite us to do something broader and more ambitious as a community. And that probably connects to one of the secret ingredients of all of this work, which I don't think we've talked about explicitly, but probably is behind all of this, that when communities do really great work along these lines, when they're really pulling their oars together towards making some kind of improvement, it tends to be really fun. That's part of what sustains this, part of the excitement and energy of innovation, is it's really fun when you're working together with colleagues who care about the same kinds of things that you care about, in part because you've been talking to each other to try to figure out what are these aspirations that we share together, and students absolutely pick up on that, and they feel like they can contribute and be part of. Communities pick up on this, school boards pick up on this, parents pick up on this. What sustains a lot of this work of innovation is when communities feel really proud and really joyful that working together with their colleagues on these kinds of things is rewarding and fun.
That's the energy of innovation.